And we're back. That's
All
how
right.
fast it is.
Check this out. This is where I learned from Paul Gilbert. Ready?
Give it.
That's it. If I would have paid attention, if I would have paid attention all those years of the struggle years with Mr. Big, when me and Paul used to share a room, we shared a room in like Motel 6s or Super 8s, and Billy was with Pat, and then the crew was paired up. And all day long, Paul Gilbert would be like, and I'm watching soap operas, like all my children, and going like this. He's in the background, you know, playing. I'm like, dude, Susan, Erica, you know, all my children that have paid attention.
Days of our lives. Yeah, I get it.
That I paid attention.
Watching the stories.
I would have been able to play that full Addicted at Rush.
You know, man. I saw you guys in 1991. I was down in Fort Lauderdale on spring break, and I knew the band. And there was the shittiest little dive bar, and I heard about Mr. Big and Billy Sheehan's going to be there. And it was a wicked show. It was an amazing show. And I think I don't know if anybody else. Go ahead.
You were there?
Yeah. All the way from Halifax. But I was blown away by how.
Biker? Are you a biker?
No.
Because it was.
I'm a drinker too.
It was a. I mean, what do you know? What gig that was? Was it called Finky's?
It was a small stage, and it had a really shallow ceiling for sure.
Yeah,
Fort Lauderdale. That's all I remember. It was like probably March, maybe February or March of 1991.
Holy shit, I did.
But you're right. There was a lot of bikers down there at the time, so there's something going on. It was just spring break for Canadian kids. So
yeah, it was like, yeah, right. That's funny. There's a lot of. We played a lot of bike weeks in Florida, and that's why I said it. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but go ahead.
No, I was just blown away by your talent, by, again, just a small stage, but you really got a chance to see everybody really play and perform and interact well. I mean, we'd all seen, you know, Billy on stage with David Lee Roth and Steve Vai and all that stuff like that, but this was real raw. It was awesome, and I really, really enjoyed it. So after that time, I've always been a huge fan of your band, right?
All right, thank you. Thanks a lot. Did you notice me?
I did. To Sean's point, your voice is very distinguishable because, I mean, you say Paul Rodgers, but Paul Rodgers has got a lower depth, you know, like his voice is here, right? Like yours is so distinct. I would pick up anywhere. You know what I mean? I totally, and I get the Tesla thing. I get that too. But just, I mean, your songs were so well written, so well executed, and very memorable. They all were, right? No, I'm not joking. You know what I mean?
Totally. Do I know what you mean? I like you better than the other two guys.
Oh, just wait. You just wait.
Look, you know, Paul Rodgers. I mean, my idol. I met him. I sung "All Right Now" with him at a gig where I'm opening. It was like a Super Bowl party years ago, and it had all the, you know, famous country artists, like new artists, and a couple rockers and me. And he's a headliner, and he looks around and he kind of points to the country guy and he goes, "Hey, do you know All Right Now?" And the country guy's like, "Huh?" And I go, "I do." I go, no offense to the country guy, Joe Nichols. Anyway, I go, "I do." And he goes, come on, kid. I'm in Mr. Big, but I come up and I sang "All Right Now" with my mentor. And another time at Paul Rodgers, I was at a Polestar Awards, you know, magazine for like the industry people, you know, giving awards to, you know, bus companies and truck companies, management companies, you know, all things to do with rock and roll. And it was me and Steve Vai actually that went up there and did this. I'm totally name dropping, but I want to get this out because I never talk about it. I was trying to I was nervous being around Steve Vai, and I go, "Hey, we have something in common," right? And he goes, "Yeah, what's that?" I'm like, what? Yeah, I didn't know what. So we're getting up there, but after that little Steve Vai thing, I see Paul Rodgers, and me and my wife and him and his girlfriend are in the middle of this green room, and all these rockers are looking at Paul Rogers. Nobody's going up to him, and it's just me and Paul. And dude, I'm talking. I'm like, remember the time you were at Texas Jam and you had a tooth missing, and you were singing your ass off, and he's like, calm down, calm down. My wife is going, I've never seen him like this before. I was so fucking blown away. But anyway, I digress. Paul Rogers, but then, Steve Marriott, Humble Pie.
I knew it. I knew it.
That I was just one of my all-time favorites,
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say Steve Marriott, Paul Rogers. This is going to be a twist. Mick Jagger, Rod Stewart, and Otis Redding.
There you go.
Oh.
All right.
Well, you do have a soulful tone to your voice. There's no question. And you probably have said this, or had people say this before, but I mean, you got a band that's kind of, a shredder bass player, a shredder guitar player, a beast of a drummer, and you come in and you bring that melody in, and you guys are doing, everything was melodic, which was so great.
I hope so. I hope so, man, because I felt like I was getting fingers pointed at me, like, oh, the pop guy is going to ruin it.
Oh, the harmonies in that band were incredible, Eric. I mean, like it was such a treat to listen to. It was certainly had the edge, to Sean's point. I mean, certainly all the shredder stuff, but really nice harmonies and really well thought out, hooks and choruses, and every song was impressive.
Thank you. You get me.
Well,
you had me at hello.
It must have been neat to have a band that literally you guys could probably have done anything you wanted to do. I mean, with the firepower that you had there, that must have been pretty cool to just go, okay, we want to write a song like this, and you could do it. And you want to write a song like that, and you could do it. There's really no limitations. Is that a fair statement?
There wasn't on the second album. The first album, everybody, I remember being at a rehearsal studio called The Alley. Really small place in North Hollywood. I've been commuting back and forth for years from the San Francisco Bay Area to LA, and we all set up in the round. I even had a piano, and Paul was there with fucking Eddie Van Halen. It was like 1,000 amps, and they were all day glowed colors, and then Billy. Tons of amps, and Pat was there, and when we wrote that first record, it was like pretty much 8 days, because Billy already had a couple songs. I wrote a song called Big Love and Rock and Roll Over right on the spot, on piano actually, and then Paul had a couple songs. I remember him he's been a writing fool, and just an amazing guy. And then Pat, he wasn't a big, he put his cup, 5%, 10% in there, he didn't become a great writer, I thought, until later on. And he wrote a lot later on. But that first album was just like, I remember seeing them working out Addicted to That Rush. And I go, hey, you guys need me? Billy goes, no, I got the lyrics. I'm good. And like, okay. And them coming up with it. I mean, it was pretty fast. But that second album, Lean Into It. And it was also rock. It was rock. There was no, Anything for You was the only sort of ballad on that record. And that had a lot of changes and interesting stuff, but it was basically rock. But the Lean Into It album came, and Green Tinted 60s Mind was written, and that was like, it's carte blanche now. It's like we can write anything we want now.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up, because I have a 23-year-old son who at the time heard that song for the first time. He was 15. He's into hip hop. He's into all that stuff. To me, the hallmark of a good song is when somebody hears a song and they like it. And the first time he heard that song at 15 and not into rock, he was just like, that's an amazing song.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm so glad that he put the hip hop down just for a second, just to listen to it, because it is a great song. beautiful melody, harmonies are off the hook. That whatever that is, beginning, holy shit. When he gave me that song, this is going to be a twist. This is a weird rock and roll tidbit of information. Paul wrote it and didn't sing it. He sang a little bit of it, but he got a demo singer to sing it. And he was coached this guy to every little nook and cranny nuance, but it was Kelly Keeling. This guy who's kind of been in the news lately. He's from the band Baton Rouge.
Oh, yes.
And Kelly sang the demo and gave it to me. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's good. I'm cocky. I'll do it my way. And I did it my way. And Paul was like, oh, no, don't do that. Do this. And I'm like, I mean, look, I'm in a band. I gotta put my own kind of stamp of approval on it. Right. So, but yeah, when we did that, I knew right from the get-go, oh my God, there's a lot of spice in this stew, but this is going to taste great to a lot of people, you know.
Brother, that album to me was just like the pinnacle. I just, so many wicked songs, and I mean, obviously, To Be With You took off. You know, it probably, you know, took it to the next level in terms of. It was a big thing to do back then for a rock band to write a ballad. It seemed to be part and parcel of the deal. You had to kind of do it, but they were so well written, and the harmonies, oh my God, right? It's just incredible.
Thank you.
So,
no, I mean, like I said earlier, when I was traveling back from San Francisco Bay Area to LA, and I lived with Paul for a while, because, you know, we as a band couldn't afford me staying in a hotel for weeks and months and all that stuff. So I lived with Paul, and I had a little blue gym bag that said Sega Genesis on it. I was like, you know, and I reached into the bag, and I could see myself today sit in his kitchen while he's making some weird shit. He's making scrambled eggs in a wok, drinking hot orange juice. I know this is so weird. I'm like, this kid he's an odd bird, but like, he's a great writer, great guitar player. But he goes, yeah, hot orange juice, it tastes better. And he's making scrambled eggs in the wok. And I pull in my gym bag and I go, hey man, listen to this cassette of the song I wrote years ago, and I just rewrote. It's called To Be With You, or I'm the One Who Wants to Be With You, and I shortened it to Be With You. And he goes, oh man, great song. And he was totally into the Beatles. And he goes, man, this is a really great song. And that was in '89. Yeah. And he goes, man, that'd be great. Oh, and he goes, oh, did you want to do it with Mr. Big? I'm like, oh no, it's just, you know, it was, because there was no ballads. I spit on your grave. Nobody wanted to do that, right? And then Lean Into It came, and then Tainted 60s Mind opened the floodgates, and then I started branching out. I actually started. I had a songwriting partner named Andre Pessis, who I met through Jonathan Cain, actually, from Journey. I have a Journey kind of past. I was managed by Herbie Herbert for years and years and years before he managed Mr. Big, and he managed Journey. But anyway, so I started getting together with Andre. I brought out the old cassette again. Hey, you wrote Green Tinted. Maybe we can look at this To Be With You thing. Great song. Like, yeah, sure, bring it in. And Kevin Elson, who worked all those great Journey records, who was also managed by Herbie. He produced our first album, and he listened to Be With You for the first time when we were making that Lean Into It. And he goes, hold on to that cassette. That is going to be, that's going to be a great song. But we wrote a lot of songs for that Lean Into It album, and To Be With You almost didn't make it. I mean, wow. Kevin was like, this is a great song, but nobody thought of like, come on, we're rockers, man. I mean, we wanted to get on the radio, but nobody thought like, we're going to get a #1 I'm playing American Bandstand. I mean, we didn't think of that shit at all. I mean, this is gonna, hey, wow, Daddy Brother, yeah, that'll take the place of Addicted. That'll be the first song. We're gonna rock out with that. That'll be first song in the set. To Be With You. Yeah, we'll get to it. It was that kind of thing. And it's on the end of the record, man. I mean, I used to say some stupid thing back in the MTV days and go, it's kind of like the dessert or the meat and potatoes. And it was, it was a big dessert.
Yeah.
Paid for all the meat and potatoes.
I was going to say, safe to say, you ever get tired of playing that? I mean, I'm sure you're asked that a lot, right? But I mean,
I'll play it right now, dude.
Yes.
No, never.
Wow.
Never. I've sung a lot of great songs with Mr. Big and great songs with other bands as well. But if I died, tomorrow, and people just played To Be With You, I would be, that's a great vocal. It's kind of a rock vocal and a ballad, a soulful rock.
That's right.
Or kind of a bluesy acoustic thing. I mean, it's not a poppy tune,
Well, it's kind of cool as you take a song like To Be With You, and if that's the one that gets, the teenage girls or even, the mediocre on the radio type of guy listener, and listen to the rest of the album to hear Daddy, Brother, Lover, Little Boy, and to the Rush, and now, then you do the version of Wide World and all the other stuff that you guys have done. If that's the song that gets them there, who cares? It worked for Extreme too. I mean, if that's, if they had the one song and you get to listen to the rest of the collection, well, then, you can open up your whole mindset to what the band could be and does for a living.
Hey, look, we didn't look a gift horse in the mouth. I mean, we played that song opening to we got all these great opening spots, Rush, Aerosmith. I mean, I remember being late to our first show on the Pump tour, I think, maybe Pump. And we're pushing our own gear up. It was in Barcelona, Spain. And we're pushing the crew, the band, and we almost had to play acoustic at our first gig because we didn't have our shit up on the stage. And I got guitar stands and, some cable and I'm running up the thing. And Steven Tyler comes up to me. I look up, I'm like, I'd love to kiss your feet there, but I got to get up on stage. And he puts his hands on my shoulder and he goes, hey, you're a star. Something like that, right? And I'm like, what? Why me? And it became apparent that To Be With You wasn't just, the US and other, Canada or whatever. I mean, it was like number one in like 15 countries and we didn't have a freaking clue. And boom, it opened the doors. It was on the radio. And it's been, the gift that keeps on giving is a thing that I've been saying for years. A lot of people say that, but those four little words took care of took care of me. I was sleeping on my dad's couch in the first Mr. Big album,
Brother, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dropped twice, and then all of a sudden that kind of just probably just goes away and you forget about it. Well, you don't forget about it, but it makes it worth it. And
listen, we should take our final break. Here's what's going to have to happen. I'm going to have to bolt. I have another commitment that I have to go to. Sean and Allison finish up the rest of the thing. Eric, I would love to get you back on the show again because I could talk to you all day long. I've been a big fan for a long time. Are you going to play? No, if you're going to play the song first, I'll wait.
I was going to play Stairway to Heaven, but we'd have to pay for it.
We're back after this.
All right.